Wait, did the White House just say a message from President Trump urging Pam Bondi to prosecute enemies was meant to be a private DM, not a public post? According to multiple reports, that's what officials suggested after a message surfaced publicly and ricocheted across social feeds. If accurate, it's a jaw-dropping example of how one misclick can collide with the power of the presidency. Here's the breakdown. Reports aggregated by MSN and coverage from the BBC say the message directed at Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General and a longtime Trump ally, appeared publicly, prompting immediate pushback and frantic questions. Officials reportedly told reporters the note was intended as a direct message, not a broadcast. Whether it was a tap on the wrong button or a workflow mistake, the content is what set off alarms. A suggestion to go after political enemies. Who is Bondi, and why does this matter? Bondi built a reputation as a tough-end crime prosecutor and served as Florida's AG. She's been in Trump's political orbit for years, sometimes floated for roles and frequently a public defender of his worldview. A message like this, even if private, raises classic red flags about prosecutorial independence. Should any president or anyone close to a president be nudging allies to target opponents? Now, let's zoom in on the DM detail. On most platforms, DMs are private by default. The claim that this was meant for a DM might explain how a sensitive line ended up in public, but it doesn't soften the substance. If anything, it suggests the intent existed, only the audience changed. And when it comes to legal and ethical assessments, intent matters a lot. This is where some legal analysts, per reporting aggregated by MSN, say the post could backfire. They argue the message could undercut defenses in disputes connected to Trump's past clashes with law enforcement, including issues tied to former FBI Director James Comey. Why? Because calling for prosecutions of enemies looks retaliatory. And retaliation, if it's suggested, can be evidence of motive. To be clear, a social post isn't a prosecution. Prosecutors must still meet legal standards, and courts examine actions, not just words. But words can become exhibits. Let's separate the legal from the political. Legally, you'd ask, did the message lead to any concrete steps, directives to federal or state prosecutors? Pressure on case selection, promises or threats to officials? Is there a pattern? Similar statements, follow-up calls, calendar entries, emails, or staff notes? And what jurisdiction would Bondi even have today? As a private citizen and former AG, she doesn't control prosecutions. Those questions matter a lot more in court than the vibes on social media. Politically, the optics are brutal. Critics say this is the clearest example yet of trying to weaponize the justice system to punish rivals. They argue that even floating the idea corrodes public trust and chills dissent. Supporters counter that the president has every right to express a view that alleged wrongdoing should be investigated, and that talking tough about law and order isn't the same as ordering an indictment. They also point out that prosecutors maintain independence and can say no. So what actually happens next? First clarification. Expect the White House press team to refine or walk through the timeline, how the message was composed, who had access, and whether it was deleted or corrected. Second reaction. Watch for Bondi's response. Does she confirm receipt, disavow the idea, or say nothing? Third, oversight. Lawmakers on relevant committees could request communications logs, device records, or staff emails to see whether this was a one-off misfire or part of a wider push. There's also the platform angle. If this post lived briefly in public before being removed, screenshots are likely everywhere. Investigators look for context, timestamps, device metadata, and whether similar drafts exist in DM threads. A single artifact rarely decides a case. A consistent pattern, what lawyers call a course of conduct-can.big picture. This is about the guardrails that keep politics and prosecution in separate lanes. The Department of Justice and state AG offices are supposed to be insulated from partisan orders. When leaders blur that line, even rhetorically, it pressures career officials and erodes the idea that cases rise or fall on evidence alone. For a generation raised on instant posts and oops, wrong audience, the lesson is simple. Private intent has a way of becoming public record. Is this the Trump empire downfall moment? Some commentators are framing it that way, an unforced error that accelerates legal and political trouble. That's a bold prediction. Realistically, downfall is never one post, one hearing, or one headline. It's the accumulation, statements, actions, and the paper trail that connects them. This message, if authentic and accurately reported, could become one more thread in that larger tapestry. Here's what to watch in the days ahead. statements, a fuller White House explanation, and any Bondi comment. Requests from oversight committees for logs, drafts, or staff communications, legal briefs, whether prosecutors or defense teams cite the post to argue motive retaliation, or lack thereof, norms. Any internal memos from DOJ or ethics watchdogs, reinforcing the line between politics and prosecution, platform evidence, confirmed timestamps or archival copies that clarify what was posted, when and to whom, until more facts lock in. Keep two ideas in your head at once. The report could be both a genuine window into intent and an event that, on its own, doesn't legally decide anything. We'll track it as verified details emerge and separate signal from noise. If you want more clear, no drama breakdowns like this, subscribe to be part of my channel and tell me in the comments, is this a turning point? Or just another headline that fades by next week?